Leo. The Leo is ruled by the sun. We know we just passed the month of Leo. Leo is Av. So Av also belongs to Esav. This is a source of false pride. This is a source also. So the sun itself is desire. So Leos, they have issues with too much desire. Desire for attention, desire for kavod, desire for money, desire. You cannot bring a small gift to a Leo. A Leo they need the attention, they need the big gift. If you're showing up so they have a little bit of that materialistic concept. So they're ruled by the sun. They get energy from the sun. So you see a lot of this, most Leos, so much passionate, so fun. 4:00 in the morning, you see in a club, all Leos. They don't go. They love life. It's like they're getting energy from the sun. That's the ruler of them is the sun. And their job is, again, so they have a big heart, but they have a big temper and a need for validation. A lot of validation. If you don't celebrate them, you can't give them a negative comment. You're not pumping their ego like a lion. Roar. They need to hear that constant pumping. If your wife is a Leo, you need to give her 1,000,000 compliments. And if you don't, it's like you're taking away their. That's how they thrive. They thrive on validation, etc. And their main model is I will. That confidence. And remember, they're fire but fixed, so they're really fire. It's no question. A Leo is fire. It's not mutable. It's fire. Their strengths are individuality. They follow their heart. They're generous. They're confident. They're fun, they're passionate, not too serious, enthusiasm, right? Nothing is too good for them. They think they deserve the best. So they have very, very high expectations, etc. Their weaknesses, very pushy. As children, it's funny, one of my Leos, they're like little mommies. They want to be the mommies. So they're very pushy. They push things to extreme. They're very melodramatic. They don't get their ways. And they're very, very, again, proud and pushy. But they're extremely fun, extremely passionate. Leos always want to go out. They don't want to stay home. They want to be the life of the party. And they want everybody to know that they're the life of the party, etc. With strength, with work, they're very confident. They take risks. They want center stage. They're passionate. They're great willpower, enthusiasm. But again, the issue is, anytime with fire, their biggest issue is not like the water, is always about them. Too much them. Too much my fire, and how about the whole team? So Leos have to think about the team, not always about them. But they're extremely generous, they have an amazing heart, and they're very faithful, they're very popular, etc. Their areas are falling in love versus standing in love. Impulsivity, very similar to Aries, but they're more caring than Aries, and they're more about them. It's all about them, etc., etc. They need to work on it. They need to work on their anger, humility, and judgment, and obviously the impulsivity. So Leos need to have a healthy ego. They have to be humble. They have to work on being team players. They need to have more passion for the proper things, and recognizing that all their gifts are from heaven. Very, very important. Then a Leo can be, again, the life of the party. But again, they think nothing is too good for them. So this is where you'll see the pickiness. And the pickiness, I have friends of mine, Leo. How's that girl? She's not good enough for me. She's not good enough for me. This one's not good enough for me. That one's not good enough for me. So that you could see the area where they could say, that job is not good enough for me. I deserve better. I deserve better. I deserve better. I deserve a better gift. I deserve a better ring. If there's no spirituality, then their net worth is their self-worth. So that could be negative in that context. Sagittarius are also fire, but they are now they're more the mutable. So when we talk about Sagittarius in general, what are we talking about practically? In the month of Sagittarius itself is the month of Kislev. Kislev has the word kisel, which also means trust and inner strength. So you see Sagittarius, they're extremely optimism. They have tremendous amount of optimism. Sometimes they're extremely too confident. So they're also, again, act first, think second. They're too, don't worry, if I jump off the building, nothing's going to happen. They're confident, but sometimes too. So this is an area where they can, because they're not measured and they need to be more practical and be realistic that, okay, you can be confident, but you need dot. You need the right information. They're just too confident. They have a hard time settling in. They have a hard time setting in relations. They're always jumping from one thing to another thing to another thing. But they love the month that rules over them is Jupiter, and they're constantly in expansion mode. They seek the truth. They want to know the truth, and they're seekers. So you can see they have a little bit of an air. I think like Sagittarius is like a combination of like fire and air, where you have that fire, but they want to know the truth. They're very seekers. They want to be explorers. Where you don't see the same thing in Leo and Aries, but you'll see it more of you'll see the fire, but seeking in spirituality. They love the truth. They're pursuers of the truth, but they cannot be maintained. You cannot hold them. They jump around too much. So again, they're very energetic. They're very fun. They're exciting. They're adventurous. They're honest. Optimism. They're charming. They're funny. Extremely funny, but a little bit blunt. They're too blunt, but they don't mean bad. But they're extremely, again, the issue here is when there's too much confidence without practicality. I'm going to make a YouTube video and I'm going to sell it to this. I'm going to do it. Next thing you know, they don't have structure. So without the structure, the confidence really ends up becoming nothing. So that they need more structure in their life. A lot of structure. Structure for them is the must. Then they'll flourish. Then they need to make, so in Kabbalistically, when we speak about the structure, we speak about, okay, I have fire, but I also need a vessel to contain it. If we have too much fire with no vessel, then what happens is that fire will never be maintained, it will burn out, etc., etc. And this is why they can't stay home. If you look at Sagittarius, they cannot stay home. Their relationship with their children also, they're not serious. They're like friends with them. Let go, let it be. Too much confidence. Oh, go out with your friends, do something. Where, Capricorn is not going to look that. Who's you talking to? Who you with? They're more precise. I need to know the details. They are not. They're more into the, just be confidence. Too much confidence. Too much, a lot of adventures, exploration. But the area where they can really struggle is in the details, in the structure. And that's where they're gonna stop. So again, the weaknesses are they can't stay home. They're careless sometimes. They're irresponsible. They're unclear. They're unsympathetic. They don't understand about others. Sometimes about others, They're a bit of aloof. And like anything in life, specifically, you can't just fall out of things so quickly. So if they're in a relationship, it's not so exciting again. Let me move to another relationship. You'll see the structure where you're not gonna have that issue with a Cancer or a Pisces or emotional or sides. Steady, patience, the long thing. That fire doesn't allow you to listen. So that's where they're too positive, and they don't like to listen so much, but they're seekers. They need new adventures. They love to travel. They love to explore. So they're extremely fun. So work on use the fun positively, like the month of Kislev. The month of Kislev is a month of optimism. If the Jews didn't have that optimism to conquer the Greeks, they would never do it. So we need the optimism, but we also need structure, and that's where they need as most structure as possible. And they also need to work on being in the moments, because they're always wanting to be in the second moment. They always feel it's like a little bit of a FOMO attitude, fear of missing out. I'm here, but I want to be there. I'm there, but I want to be there. So you'll see Sagittarius is extremely fun. They're not going to stay home like a Cancer, but sometimes they do need to stay home and work on gathering things, etc. But again, fun, giving, likes the truth, seekers, amazing. But again, they need to work on listening. They need to work on structure, because they don't like to listen and they want to be right 100% of the time. And again, that's not the case also. So again, they need to work on pinning themselves emotionally, They need to work on, if things are tough, you don't just fly away. You got to deal with it. And tremendous amount of structure in their lives, etc. They also need to develop healthy curiosity instead of being reckless. And that's where the area of recklessness is, because they're just, again, lack of structure, jumping from one thing to another. The next situation is always better. Too much jumping around. Structure for them would be amazing for them. And slowing down and listening is the key. They need to listen. They don't like to listen. So they do pretty much the opposite of listening. So this is where that area of fire, you could see, could be positive or negative, or you could see such a difference between a Cancer sign where they lead emotionally, a fire sign's about the fun. It's just it's two different worlds, etc.